Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Firstly, I want to say thank you to everybody who's been watching my content over the last almost year, 11 months it's been since my last upload, and trust me, a lot has changed. Let's get into it. What's happened in the last 12 months? Basically, we left Finland. The main reason why I didn't want to continue, well, it's not that I didn't want to. The reason that I didn't upload videos and do the stuff that I planned on doing was I really underestimated how much time this stuff takes and how much time and effort and just everything that you need to put into raising a kid, as well as going to the other side of the world, moving your family, your whole life over to another country, as well as the process, and what a process it is to move a pet. So that's why something had to give, and sorry, that was one of my daughter's toys. Something had to give, and it was this. But now we've finally managed to plant some roots, a little bit more stable, so I'm going to put my spare time back into this. So we flew from Helsinki through Singapore and then into Brisbane. I think we left in April. 4 months, so Felicity was 4 months old when we were traveling, and let me tell you, we really thought it was going to be a difficult journey traveling that distance with a 4-month-old, and it was a breeze. She slept, I'm willing to say, 85–90% of the flights. She was really only awake for the last little flight that we had once we were in Australia, but primarily she was sleeping, so that was it was unreal, and well done, Felicity, that was great. But definitely made that aspect of coming back to Australia much smoother. So once we arrived back in Australia, we decided to situate ourselves in Queensland, in the town that I grew up in, which is Gladstone. It's a rural coastal town, and there's not really much to do here, but because I grew up here, most of my family is here and friends, so it just made sense to sort of come back to something that I know, and we're still here. We do have plans to move, but that's coming. So once we arrived safely, probably the biggest thing on our mind, my mind as well as my wife Issa's mind, was Finley. So Finley, once we arrived in Australia, he was about to leave Finland, and it was insane. Finley was one of those dogs that we were told suffered from extreme separation anxiety. So him going through this journey himself, it was basically make or break for him, and there's nothing we could do. But yeah, that period, once he arrived to Australia and he had the 10 days quarantine, 11 days quarantine, whatever it was, we also had we didn't have any contact with him. All we could do was call up the center and speak with somebody who might know somebody who fed him that day. And so that whole process of him coming over, doing the quarantine, and then picking him up from the airport in Brisbane, that was unreal. I was so happy to see him, so happy to know that he made the flight safely, and he did lose a little bit of weight, which I'm sure it was crazy shock to his system, and the fact that he is here with us now is just unreal. And I know from certain things that we do and adventures and stuff that we take him out on, he's living a good life right now. So once he came back, so we had several things that we needed to do, very similar to what we had to do once we come to Finland. We had to start the process of getting Medicare. Medicare is the national insurance scheme here in Australia that can fully or partially subsidize the payment for medical bills, medical costs. So it is something that was a must, and there was quite a lengthy process in that, considering we were also going through the citizenship application for our daughter. So yeah, it's all done now, but that was a massive one. We had to organize, obviously, phone plans. Issa is currently going through her driver's license. She never had a license when she was in Finland because obviously the public transport is unreal over there, so she didn't need it, but she definitely needs a driver's license here, so she's currently going through the procedure to get that. Bank accounts, as well as I was going to be starting work soon and we needed to get a car. And remember, when we came to Australia, we literally came with like 5 suitcases. So on top of all the other stuff that we had to organize, we needed to find a rental, then we needed to get furniture and literally everything. So yeah, it was quite a lengthy, stressful, very stressful process, but we got there thanks to the help of my wonderful family who put us up for, I'm gonna say, 6 weeks. It took us to go through that whole process. Yeah, until we got into our first rental, and then the ball started rolling relatively fast from filling out the rental with furniture and when I started work. I started work in a place, well, in a coal mine about 4 hours northwest of where we currently live. It's not bad. It's literally the same mine site that I was working at before I came over to Finland. So it was good to be back somewhere familiar. But yeah, I'm currently working 7 days on and 7 days off. So I'm away for 7 days and I'm back for 7 days. Ultimately, it's not something that I want to do forever because I am feeling the strain of being away from the family for that week. It does suck, but also with the cost of living and rent rise and everything that everyone around the world is feeling right now, working away is something that we just have to do. So that's what I'm currently doing for work. Felicity has started swimming. Now, it was something that we wanted to get her into straight away. Yeah, because obviously growing up in Queensland, going to the beach a lot, and swimming is a big part of your lifestyle, and growing up through schooling, they do have a lot of swimming activities. So being able to swim is a skill that obviously we wanted her to pick up from the very beginning. So the first thing that we did was enroll her in swimming classes, and she's been doing it for a bit over 10 months now, and she's absolutely loving it. She's loving going to the pool. We recently just had our Finnish family come from Finland. They flew to Australia, spent a few days down in Sydney, went through to Brisbane, then flew down here to Gladstone. Spent a little bit of time here. Sadly, I had to work over Christmas, and then once I came back from work, we then traveled we traveled down to Brisbane, spent a few days there, and now they've left. It was so good to see them. It was their first trip to Australia, so really looking forward to seeing them again, and I hope they enjoyed their trip. Cool. So this year, like I said, I'm working week on, week off. I will be trying to smash out these videos on my time off and organising the upload schedule around that, as well as it's a fair bit going on. We are heading back to Finland in 6 months. We should be there around June, July, for our wedding that is in July. So in 2019, we had scheduled before the pandemic to have our wedding, when we were living in Finland, to have our wedding there. And we'd organised everything there, but then the pandemic came and it just had to keep getting postponed. So now we're living back in Australia. We obviously wanted to go back there because we booked everything. So we'll be returning back to Finland. So that is something that we need to be organising, and it's gonna be, busy times coming up. There's a lot of things we need to talk about, a lot of cultural shocks and cultural differences from my 4 years that I lived, almost 4 years that I lived in Finland. What I picked up over there to what was very different to when I came back. And especially, try and help me. I'm trying to get my wife, Issa, to do some of her own videos, because I do want it to be also shown from her perspective as a Finnish person coming to Australia. It's not her first time coming here, however, it's her first time coming to live here. And the difficulties that come with moving to another country and trying to find a job, etc. Also, I know because when I started this channel, it was Jack Vincent, so my first name and middle name, and it was built around me moving to Finland. So we've done a little bit of a rebrand. YouTube has come out with things now called handles. I managed to secure a handle called, I'll link it down here, at AussieFin, primarily because my wife's Finnish, my daughter's half Finnish. I'm always going to be a part of the Finnish culture, so AussieFin. Use that to link if you want to look me up, share me. That's what we're going to be using. So this is going to be the new branding of the channel, as well as the Instagram handle. Again, just short, quick recap. Thank you so much for sticking around. I've noticed the comments. I'm getting back into the full swing of things now. We'll be uploading and smashing them out. Yes. On that, thank you. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.